here at Bright Club, and I found it a lot more difficult to write the material this time around because I work on Alzheimer's disease, and trying to think up hilarious material built around a horrifically debilitating illness is actually very difficult, you know, especially because it's a disease of the elderly, and it's a group of people that have to be treated with care, respect and sensitivity. And then I just thought, oh, fuck them. They're old, they're not going to remember any of this, and they're going to be dead soon anyway, what's the point? Now, I can tell by some faces that some of you are thinking, you might have just crossed the line there. And then turn around and pissed all over them. But actually there's a point to it, because that kind of attitude of, oh fucking they're old, what's the point, is something that's plagued dementia research in the past, and you know, it's not received as much funding and as much attention as some of the more big named, more successful illnesses like cancer or heart disease. So, you know, if you think of Cancer Research UK as, say, Tesco, then the British Heart Foundation is Sainsbury's, and you know, we're not Lidl or Aldi, but nor are we Asda. Think Morrison's. and maybe, you know, the big pharma companies have been a little guilty of not putting in as much effort in the past into curing a group of people who, in all fairness, will be dead soon anyway. But the elderly have kind of cottoned onto this, and they've started living longer. And not only that, the elderly population is expanding like you wouldn't believe. They've been breeding. And when you bear in mind that over half of people over the age of 80 have some form of dementia, we're faced with a nightmare scenario of a zombie-like plague of confused old people shuffling around in their pyjamas, and something had to be done, so the funding's got a lot better in recent times, so that's great. Now, something else that has also affected dementia research, not just dementia but all kinds of mental illness, is something called the stigma attached to mental illness. And it hadn't even occurred to me that there was a stigma, and it's just somebody mentioned it in a talk a couple of years ago, and I went off and googled it to find out all about it. And apparently it's the appearance of massive holes in your hands and feet which correspond to the injuries of Jesus Christ suffered on the cross during the crucifixion. Then I realised that, of course, I put in stigmata and then retyped it. It's actually, it's like a mark of shame or embarrassment that kind of almost stamped on the forehead of anybody that suffers from mental illness, and people feel very awkward and embarrassed, and they can't talk about it properly. Which I find a bit weird, because, you know, if you break your leg, people are only too happy to come up to you and sort of give it a prod and find out how many thousand pieces your kneecaps were shattered into. You know, if you haven't been to the doctor for 6 years and you've got a pus-filled infected anus, you can go and get that out on Channel 4 these days, that's fine, no stigma attached to that. I think well should be. But if you suffer from any form of mental illness, be it sort of anxiety, depression, dementia, enjoying X Factor, it does kind of weird people out a bit, and people don't like to talk about it. And certainly families with demented elderly relatives have been known to kind of, you know, shut them away in the back room, don't let the public know about it. We haven't got a demented elderly relative. No, we haven't. And, you know, go around to the house. Where is old Uncle Frank these days? Where is he? Oh, he's dead or on holiday or something. He's like pissing in a flower pot. That's the other thing. Poking fun at it, you don't poke fun at mental illness. That just adds to the stigma. So jokes like that are a bit naughty, and you know, slap wrist for me for doing that. But thinking back through my life, I mean, I guess I have been sort of had personal experience of this stigma attached to mental illness. So, when I say personal experience, I don't mean me. I don't mean I'm mentally ill. No, God, no. I'm normal. No, don't top me with the same brush as those freaks. All right. But no, it's true. You know, people are weirded out by it, and I think it's just people feel a bit threatened by what's sort of classed as abnormal behaviour. And I sort of did a bit of reading. I got really interested in it. And sort of scientist that I am, I wanted to sort of do a bit of a social experiment. And so I've got a 3-year-old son. I couldn't believe anybody had sex with me. But yeah, I've got a 3-year-old son, and he's great for doing experiments with because he's really little. You can just hold him down, do all sorts of shit to him. But invariably, we always end up in Tesco, and instead of like shouting at him and telling him not to touch anything, like most of the fat-ass Jeremy Carl watching Luddite mothers in Ely Tesco, I like to make it fun for him. So we do pick stuff up and have a run around and, you know, have a bit of a play and make lots of noise. And generally, people kind of go, oh. There's a group of people that go, But they're the kind of people, you know, with a career. They're like charging around rail stations, wielding a cup of Starbucks like it's a fucking weapon to show how important it is. But they're not real people, so... So I thought, my experiment was, what would happen if I went into Tesco and behaved like that on my own without my son? So I did it. So the fruit and veg section, you know, that was okay. I was kind of like, you know, pointing and laughing at melons and rearranging apples and bananas into hilarious shapes. So that was a few sort of nervous glances. But that was okay, you know, presumably people thought, well, the healthy nutters are harmless nutters. So, similar kind of idea in the sort of laundry and detergent section, when I was seeing how far down the aisle I could spray the silly bang. You know, people thought, well, at least he's making the effort not to smell the piss, so that's true. It went a bit downhill in the confectionery section when I decided to burst into tears because I couldn't find the right colour of Mega Double Lolly. At that point, you know, mothers were kind of shielding their children from me, I was a bit worried. And by the time I was careering down the alcohol section in the trolley, clutching a French stick, sesame seed, proclaiming to be Captain Jack Sparrow, I heard the immortal words on the tannoy, public address system, security to aisle 20, and I was duly escorted from the premises. But I thought, why? Why should I be escorted from the premises? Why should I be chucked out of here? I'm not actually doing anything wrong. It's just that, you know, people didn't like the behaviour that I was portraying. I think they actually felt threatened by it. Judging by the look of some of their faces, they were genuinely quite scared. And I think that's the problem. I think when it comes to mental illness, you know, people can't deal with different behaviour. And I think, you know, if there's a take-home message to this, I think what you have to understand, you know, if somebody breaks their leg, they're going to have a limp, they're going to walk a bit funny. Somebody with Alzheimer's disease, you know, they've effectively lost the parts of their brain that form memories and give them spatial awareness, so they appear very lost and confused, don't know what's going on. It doesn't mean they're going to rape and murder you while you sleep, alright? But, you know, that's it. So, you know, if you do feel a bit uncomfortable about talking about mental illness and things like that, then go away and read about it, educate yourself, you know, find out what it's all about. Just understand that mentally ill people are not necessarily going to harm you. Apart from some paranoid schizophrenics who haven't taken the medication, they'll just fucking knife you as soon as you go. Thank you, good night.